Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into the worldview of a pretty unique spiritual philosophy called Lifechanyuan, straight from the writings of its founder, Guide Shufang. So let's just jump right in with this statement from Guide Shufang himself. I mean, wow, it's a line that's pretty much designed to challenge everything we think about freedom and who should be in charge. Right? It's a tough question. And to even begin to understand it, the Lifechanyuan writings say we have to completely reframe our reality. And that starts with the actual words we use. To follow their logic, we basically have to learn their language. And they are very, very specific about this. Lifechanyuan has a mandatory vocabulary. According to their materials, using these exact terms isn't just a suggestion. It's absolutely essential if you want to get what their whole philosophy is about. For example, take the highest power. In Guy Shufang's texts, you have to use the term the greatest creator. They are really clear about not using words like God or Lord because they argue those words just don't capture the true nature of what they're talking about. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. This is one of the most important ideas in their whole system, the difference between life in all caps and life in lowercase. According to them, these are not the same thing at all. They're two totally separate concepts. Guide Shufang teaches that life, with that capital L, is who we really are, our true eternal self. It's described as a spirit-endowed non-material structure. So that's different from our lowercase life, which is, just this temporary physical thing we're doing on Earth. Getting this distinction is pretty much the foundation of their entire universe. So, okay, where does this big L life fit into the grand scheme of things? Well, according to Lifechanyuan, our everyday human experience is just one tiny little spot on a much, much bigger cosmic map. And the answer, as Guy Shufang describes it, is huge. He talks about a reality that doesn't just have 3 or 4 dimensions, but operates within a framework of 36-dimensional spaces. And inside these dimensions, you've got all these different realms and worlds. The texts talk about places like the celestial world, the thousand-year world, and even whole positive and negative universes. It's this incredibly complex, layered reality that they say we humans need to learn how to get around in. All right, so you've got this incredibly complex map of reality. But what's the point? Why does it matter so much to know the difference between life and to know about all these other worlds? The whole system that Guide Shufang lays out is pointed at one single destination, helping humanity make what he calls a civilizational leap. And we're not talking about slow progress here. This is a complete transformation. And this future state, it has a name, Civilization 3.0. They describe it as the era of Lifechany, a whole new way of existing where humanity lives by a higher set of values, which leads to harmony and ultimately leveling up their eternal life. So now, with all of that background, the special language, the 36-dimensional universe, and this ultimate goal of Civilization 3.0, we can finally go back to that really challenging idea about dictatorship we started with. And this slide really gets to the heart of it. The Lifechanyuan texts draw a super sharp line between what they call worldly tyranny, which is all about political control and force, and what they call a spiritual dictatorship. This, they say, isn't about control, it's about guidance to help your eternal life navigate all those cosmic laws. So here's the absolute key to their argument. From their point of view, Guide Shufang isn't a political dictator trying to control your temporary lowercase life. No, he's a spiritual navigator, and his directions are essential to steer humanity's collective, eternal life to its final destination, Civilization 3.0. When you lay all the pieces out like that, you can see how a kind of self-contained logic starts to form. Let's just quickly trace how these ideas all lock together. So it goes like this. First, a new language redefines reality, splitting your temporary life from your eternal life. Second, this huge cosmic map gives everyone a clear, super ambitious goal, Civilization 3.0. And then finally, once you have that destination, the guide's role gets reframed. He's not a tyrant, he's the essential, benevolent navigator. And this quote from their writings just sums it all up perfectly. It makes the material world, politics, money, even personal freedom seem less important, like a game. The only thing that has real value is the journey of that non-material, eternal life. And that kind of leaves us with this big, provocative question.
The whole Lifechanyuan system seems to suggest that if you can change the meaning of core words like life or dictatorship, you can actually build a whole new reality with its own set of rules. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How much of our own reality is built on definitions we just never thought to question?